And Craig Muter from the Baseball Hall of Fame on the phone with us right now. Craig, how are you? Good to talk to you today. Yeah, you're on the way to New York, right?
We are. We are on the way to New York for our press conference this afternoon with Ken Griffey Jr. and Mike Piazza.
Oh, ooh, that's exciting. Exciting news for Mets fans, for Piazza getting into the Hall of Fame, and obviously Griffey getting almost all the votes. Who wouldn't vote for this guy? Why did 3 guys not vote for him?
I think it's very difficult to determine why anybody would not vote for Ken Griffey Jr. I know you remember him, Dave. He was the face of the game for a decade. He was universally regarded as the best player in the game, 5 tools, and really, in a way, he almost helped launch the ESPN generation all by himself. Because it was him, he was the one on SportsCenter every night, either hitting a home run or making a catch or doing something else. And it kind of grew up together, that kind of social media presence that now we take for granted.
And all with a smile on his face, too.
And you make a good point, Craig. Also, I think that was a big inception to the gaming world, where those games of that nature, sporting games for, at the time, Sega, Genesis, really came out big and strong because of players like that.
Absolutely. When I was growing up, we were playing the games with the little dots where it went beep, 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 beep. That's how you hit the ball. When Ken Griffey came around, it was a lot different. You're right. People saw them on the screen. They got that connection with them as players. And I think you're going to see that this summer in Cooperstown. People are going to come out, not just Mariner fans, but Ken Griffey Jr. fans.
Yeah, I noticed, Craig, that the number of voters changes every year. Can you explain why that is?
Well, there's always been some variance in the number of voters because not every voter returns his ballot. This year, though, there was a definite reduction in the general electorate. The decision was made that we took a look at all the people who were voting, and the decision was made by our board that we wanted to make sure that the voters had seen the guys they were voting on. And so basically what happened is the rule was enacted where if you haven't been covering the game regularly in the last 10 years, that you're no longer eligible to vote. And you can see why that happens. If you haven't seen somebody on the field, if you haven't seen them play, it's very difficult to make an informed decision about whether they're a Hall of Famer or not.
Talking to Craig Muter from the Baseball Hall of Fame, actually in a car on the way to New York right now, on the heels of the balloting news from yesterday. Mike Piazza, Ken Griffey Jr. are in. Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens still not getting enough votes.
Should have sent you down with a few rookie cards, Craig, so you can have them sign them for us.
Yeah. Now, listen, Bonds and Clemens got more votes this year. They're up to 45%, which is about an 8% increase from last year. But are they ever going to run out of time before they get enough votes?
It's difficult to say. You're still in that range where you're at 45%, and you're not that far away. You're 30% or so. It just depends on how the voters see it. I mean, this is a very polarizing issue. For most people, it's black or white. You're in or you're out. And the fact that they gained this year, I think, does say that maybe people are starting to look at them in a different way. But you made the point. You've only got 10 years. And this is what? This is their 4th time on the ballot, so you've got 6 times left. Whether they make that climb or not, we'll wait and see.
Mm-hmm. And, Craig, you touched on this a little bit, but, these guys that, we portray them, they're the stars of the day that we remember. Sometimes we see some of the inductees as older baseball generations that have passed, and maybe it's hard to connect with them. So when you get to Cooperstown for an induction weekend like this, what's this going to mean? What is the crowd going to bring?
I think you're definitely going to see what we've seen the last couple of years. We saw Greg Maddux in 2014. Mm-hmm. We saw Pedro Martinez in 2015. You see folks who, these guys are just retired. They've only been retired for 5 years or so. And so the level of passion is really high. But also then you on the same stage with guys like Ken Griffey Jr., you have Henry Aaron and Sandy Koufax.
Right.
Talk about a melding of the generation. I think even for Ken Griffey Jr., when he looks over his shoulder on July 24th and sees Sandy Koufax on the stage, he's going to say, wow, this is pretty cool. And that's the moment, I think, for everybody in Cooperstown when they have that experience.
Do you have enough seats for everybody? Donald Trump gave away 20,000 seats to a rally tonight in Vermont. There's only 1,400 seats available there. You going to be able to seat everybody or what?
Absolutely. I've started buying up lawn chairs down at Lowe's so we can see them on the lawn. Actually, it's great. It is unlimited seating at the Clark Sports Center, which is really great. You come and you bring a blanket or you bring your portable chair, and you get to experience it. It really is something that every baseball fan should see. And folks in Central New York, sometimes it's kind of like the Statue of Liberty. So many people in New York City have never been to the Statue of Liberty because they kind of take it for granted. This is a national treasure right in our backyard. This is something that you really don't have an opportunity to do unless you live in Central New York or you make the big trip to Cooperstown. And I tell everybody in Central New York should see it at least one time because it's something you'll never forget.
For sure. Thanks for checking in with us. Safe travels down to New York, Craig.
Thanks, Craig.